Saturn entered Pisces for the first time in 26 years on March the 7th, okay? Since June 17th, Saturn has actually been in retrograde, moving backwards until today, where it stops at 0 degrees of Pisces and prepares to move forward. And I will explain all that and I will talk about what all this means, but I do want to point out for anybody who drops off early to know that we are very good at punishing ourselves. And Saturn is the planet that will point out where we may have dropped the ball. It's very important to know that you've also already done the time for the crime. So go easy on yourself. I mean, it will tell us where we've dropped the ball, and it will mainly center around our hopes, our dreams, our wishes, our desires. So the things we hold closest to our heart. It's so important to know you've already done the time. Go easy on yourself. We are only human. And once you can figure out how to do this approach, to stop beating yourself up, to start looking at the marvel of who you are, you will be able to overcome anything under this energy. Okay, sit back, relax. Let's explore the cosmic energies together. We can gain an understanding of how to embrace this energy, utilize this energy, and move forward today and every day. Hi, I'm Tilly. This is Tarot with Tilly. Thanks for being here, and thank you for all the positive, loving support you send me each and every day. Welcome to your weekend focus for November the 4th and the 5th, 2023. Let's start with the numerology. Saturday, we have the energy of the 4. The 4 is about getting our ducks in a row. The 4 is about looking at our foundations and what we plan to build upon. So do we have balance? Are we centered? Also, home and family may play a big role, especially in Saturday's energy for us. If we looked at the numerology for Saturday, it would be an 11 plus a 4 plus a 7, which equals a 22. And I know many numerologists, when they do it, they would just take that 11 and make it a 2 under this scenario. But I always like to see the bigger picture of where the energy can be. We may walk through it under a 2 energy, not being able to really step into that 11 energy of November. We may walk our path in the 4 energy rather than stepping into the 22 energy. The 22 energy is a harder path. It's an educated path. It's an elevated path, I should say. Not educated, but elevated. Although we get very educated when we are amongst the 22 energy. It is one of the strongest energies out there when it comes to numerology, if not the strongest energy possibly available to us is when that 22 comes. And the 22 will demand that we know our stuff, that we are able to handle a situation that comes our way and handle it in the right way and taking the right steps because we have learned from past mistakes and we are applying it to the here and now. The 22 energy asks so much more of us, but the rewards are so much greater. You can't even possibly imagine how great your life can become when we are challenged by that 22 energy and we willingly accept the challenges that come out of it. Because out of that just comes pure greatness. Oftentimes when I'm doing a reading and I find somebody with 22 energy, it's the one thing I can say to them, to each and every one of them, is you had to be 10 times better than everybody else in order to get noticed the way they were noticed. And they're just challenged more to be greater, to keep pushing themselves to the next level and the next level and the next level and beyond. But it reaps in the most beautiful of rewards. Now on Sunday we'll have a 5 energy, and the 5 energy is all about giggles and laughters and dancing in the street, under the moonlight, in the headlights of the car that you pretended stalled with your date that you want to get to know a little bit better. In a nice way, okay? In today's age, that could go very south very fast, but I think from the heart, so. The 5 energy is also about allowing your creativity to flow. About softening the edges in our lives, in our demeanor, in our relationships. Bringing in a little bit of romance, perhaps. And the daily numerology for Sunday would be an 11 plus a 5 plus a 7 gives us 23 energy. And the 23 energy is all about knowing that there is a greater power, greater energy, greater than you out there actually orchestrating your path forward for you. Whether or not you use God, Yahweh, Buddha, your angels, your guides, your higher self, divine wisdom, the universe, that you know that there's something greater than you that's helping you on this path, that's working with you, that loves you unconditionally. And that you can reach out to that energy and ask for assistance, ask for help, ask for guidance, ask for wisdom. And 2 plus 3 is a 5. To create happiness and joy in our life, laughter in our life, love in our life. To allow our creativity or self-expression to flow. Sun is in Scorpio and our moon moves into Leo about 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday morning, which gives us an entire weekend of being infused with that Leo energy. That independent, strong, wanting to, the Leo wants to put a smile on somebody else's face. The Leo is very upset when you do not say thank you for that. Because they've gone to great lengths to make a smile on your face. To bring out the joy. To show that you're appreciated. To show that you're seen. On Saturday, Mercury will set opposite to Uranus. So it's definitely not a day for patience or self-discipline. Don't sign yourself up for any of those kinds of tasks, okay? We need to be very open-minded. We need to be very flexible. Okay, people can come into our lives or into our path right now to challenge our way of thinking. And whether it's your hopes and your dreams or perhaps your viewpoint on certain events or happenings, maybe it's even a person in the neighborhood. And we can become a little bit more confrontational or controversial. We may be dishing it out, or we may be on the receiving end. So understand, if you are on the receiving end, where this is actually coming from, and not to get into those heavy debates. But take in what others are saying, absolutely. But decide for yourself what your truth is. And when we do this, we could very well receive flashes of insight, or a path of discovery may open for us. But the big news here today is that Saturn is going stationary direct at 0 degrees of Pisces. 0 is the Fool energy. 0 is also the 22 energy in the tarot, right? Because the Fool is the 22 energy, or the 0. So that 22 energy is kind of moving up in stature for our weekend energy. But the 0, there's no beginning, there's no ending, there's doing, there's evolving, there's becoming. There's growing. Also, because of it going stationary direct, Saturn is only moving like for the entire month of November. I think it's less than 0.5 degrees, which is slower or just the same speed as like Neptune or Pluto would be going. So by no means is Saturn whipping around the sun, but it's going extremely slow. So if you feel like you're in some kind of limbo that you can't break through, it's probably your Saturn energy that you are dealing with more than any of the other planets right now, where you feel like you're just stuck, okay? Because when we have a planet go retrograde, first of all, the planets don't actually move backwards. They never have. They always go forward, but our perception from Earth sees them as going backwards, and so we call that retrograde. And it essentially what happens is, so let's take Saturn in Pisces, okay? So it came in March the 7th, I believe it was, and it moved forward in Pisces and then went stationary retrograde and now has moved back over that path that we've walked. And now we'll be walking a third time through that energy. Now, when we first walk through that energy, I mean, it's Saturn in Pisces, okay? Now, Saturn will point out our obligations, our responsibility, our strengths, our limitations. We become much more aware of the rules, the limits, the boundaries. And these things will probably be magnified for us during this time. So this isn't like a day or two event. We'll be feeling this throughout the next month, but we'll get more used to feeling it. It'll feel more, part of our world. But for now, we're gonna be meeting some walls, or some pains that we've pushed down and we didn't want to acknowledge, or some obligation or responsibility that we kept moving to the back burner. These kinds of things will come out. A lot will come out with our spirituality too, okay? We will learn things about our highest purpose under this energy over the next several years. But we will also be faced with some of our deepest pains. So it's about getting in touch with your intuition. It's allowing your imagination to run free. Now, let's go back to Saturn's going into Pisces for the first time. And this was a time where, Pisces is all about our dreams, our desires, our fantasies, our hopes, our passions, our spirituality. Okay? Now, Saturn comes in and says, what are you thinking about? You want to do that? Well, let's do it. Let's make a plan. Let's devise a strategy. It's actually doable. Let's do it. And we find ourselves thinking about the impossible and how to really make it possible in our lives. But then Saturn stopped and said, we need to review what we've done so far. And we went through this huge review of our dreams, of our goals. And I've said practical way too much over the last several weeks, haven't I? Because it's not a word that's really in my vocabulary, to be honest with you, okay? I like living on the edge and pushing and, taking the chance and stepping into the unknown and going after the adventure, which Saturn doesn't really appreciate all that much. And so when I'm dealing with Saturn, life just really gets ugly. Like just recently I went to a town meeting. I kid you not, I'm not making this up. And I found out that because of what they want to do on my street, they're going to give me a bill of, I hope you're all setting, of $100,000. Who has $100,000 spare change kicking around? Everybody who lives on the street and their houses are all retired. I mean, it's just like, it's surreal. Anyways, so, you're going to find things like this. Now, do I look worried or tense? No, because I know they've got a plan for me. I know that they're going to walk me through it. I know that I'll get hints of insight. I know this to be a truth, okay? For you need to accept it more of a truth. The 23 energy is there to say today, there is a higher power than you, making that path for you, that's laying out the plan. All we need to do is show up and go with the flow and roll up our sleeves and do the work. Okay, but anyways, I'm getting off of the main subject, but for some reason you guys needed to hear that. I struggle too. I'm just human, just like you. But I don't beat myself up, and I don't let the anxiety and the worry, because we all know how towns and politics work. And it's not like tomorrow someone's going to be asking me for this money. I have time to back it up, to really think it through, to look at my options. And I'm sure there's options that, they're already coming to me, different things that I can do, different scenarios. So I'm not worried. So don't you be worried about me, okay? But Saturn has walked through and said, you know what? This really isn't practical. We need to make it more practical, make it more tangible, make it more grounded, make it more secure in order for everything else to flow from it. And so Saturn is actually going in there and helping us build strategy. At the same time, tearing away what truly is fantasy or illogical, or we don't even have the skill set to really step into something like that, and to kid ourselves that we're actually going to step into that skill set miraculously. It takes work to build any skill set. Absolutely. Although you see these 3-year-olds on the piano on YouTube and stuff, and you wonder, right? So you could have, under this energy too, you can definitely have this awakening of a talent or an ability that you didn't even know that you possessed until you decided, oh, I'll try it. They're all doing it. I'll go for the day. I'll make an excuse to get out there early because we all have those great excuse bags that we believe every one of those excuses. We can talk ourselves out of anything we want in life. All we have to do is reach into our excuse bag. My hair's dirty. I have nothing to wear. It's too late. I'll be late if I go now. Probably nobody's showing up. It's a work night. I got to be at work early tomorrow morning. I had a really big, exhausting day, and that one guy went after me and just like tore me a new one, and it was just a horrifying. There's no way I'm going tonight. I'm beat, and oh my gosh, I think my back even hurts a little bit. Oh, and the final episode is out. I didn't want to miss that final episode, so we have, and we can talk ourselves out of anything, and so Saturn is there to make sure that we don't get wishy-washy, that we are building a plan, that we are. And so this time when we walk through, now that we've taken away a whole bunch of things that really just clouded the issue, because it really wasn't, those things weren't going to help us move forward in the direction we wanted. Now Saturn's saying, okay, let's start at 0 and let's start walking forward. And we're going to be making the plan, and we're going to be making the strategy. And those are words that I am like way overusing these days. Plan and strategy, over and over again. But there's a reason that it keeps coming out. So that when we actually have Saturn right now ready to walk forward, that we are making the plan, that we are making the strategy, that we are giving ourselves the time that we deserve to think about our destiny, our forward motion. And this isn't a small thing. This is like the event of 2023. Really, because it just changes so much structure in our life. We become more intuitive. We become more magical. We can utilize magic. You don't believe in magic? Well, then I guess it's not happening for you. But for the rest of us, I saw the High Priestess fly by there as I picked up the cards. She didn't fly out, but she winked at me. Okay, let's see what the cards have to say, shall we? So I did put something out. It'll be out Saturday morning for my tea time with Tilly at 5 a.m. There's a video. I'm not sure if I put a blog out about it or not on my website, but because it is a big event and we do need to revisit, because it'll get lost in the shuffle, but it's always an underlying energy for us. Okay, it's always there, giving us an energy, a vibration that we can tap into. It's just sometimes it's not as clear as others. Okay, first card. First card is the Four of Cups. It all starts with gratitude. This is a weekend to just be grateful. Be grateful for your talents, your abilities, who you are, the people you know, the place you live, and just be grateful for all the goodness that does surround you in the present moment, even maybe some of the things that you take for granted. I leave out my front door and I just take for granted that my truck is going to be parked there. When I start it, it's going to start. When I put it in reverse, it's going to go in reverse. It's going to drive down the road for me. No hiccups. I'm going to get to where I need to be. And sometimes, I just take it for granted. And then when it doesn't work, my whole life falls apart, right? I can't get out of the driveway. What do you mean? So this is about looking at the things in life that you are grateful for. Your friends, your family, your home, your talents, your abilities. Our first card is the Moon. The Moon is really going within, and then really with the Scorpio energy, it wants you to go in and it wants you to dig deep and wants you to find a truth about yourself that maybe has been overloaded with just past events and how it has molded you within today. I talked a little bit about the inner child astrology report that I do have available, and if you want to start a path in that, this is the time. I'll leave a small description on how to find all that information to find out about that inner child and the hurts and the with the joys too, but maybe the things we've repressed, or the things that, and they guide us. I mean, that's just, psychology has proven that we become what happens to us in our very formative years. Unbeknownst to us, it forms us into the adult we are. So if there's patterns that you need to break in your life, then this is worth its weight in gold to you, because it will actually point out things which will bring back some memories that you probably wanted to keep repressed, but it's also not allowing you to evolve in the way that you want to evolve. So I guess it's, how much do you want to? Getting back to the moon card, though, that's about our inner self, our happiness, our joy, our laughter, and our passion, what motivates us. I mean, what makes us tick? What makes us feel alive? What makes us feel happiness and joy and love? What are the things that, what's the recipes there? What do we truly need? Not what society tells us we need, but what we truly need. What is our true balance? You may like Coke and they might like Pepsi, and this person's just tap water all the way. This person can't wait to get into that case of beer or that bottle of scotch. We all have different things, right? So don't think because it makes somebody else happy that it necessarily should make you happy. Find out for yourself what really brings in the joy, the laughter. We have the Ace of Cups. Strong reading. Ace of Cups. This is about embracing where you want to go, your dreams, your desires, that new path that you want to step into. This is about embracing it, loving it. This symbolizes that new path forward, and just falling in love with it, and raising your passion about it, and getting motivated at what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. And yes, are there roadblocks in the way? Absolutely. And we are in a lunar eclipse energy right now, which will allow us to complete or end or release or remove or heal from the things that are actually stopping us from going after what we truly want in life. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles. Once again, where the Queen of Pentacles shows up. I believe she showed up for Friday, telling us that the storm has passed, that we should feel good about who we are and where we're going. And that abundance that's waiting for us, well, it's waiting just for us. Nobody can come in and scoop it up. Nobody can take it. Look at how lackadaisy we kind of sit there with our abundance. Even though somebody could just run right by and grab it, we have no worries. We don't have two hands on it. We're resting. We're just kind of holding it, so it just doesn't roll away. So know that the storm has passed. And we're dressed in blue here, and Mercury is a big part of this weekend. So that's our voice. That's our thoughts and our voice. So what are you saying? What are you affirming? What are you being grateful for? What are you planning, and what are you strategizing, and how are you putting that into words? Are you journaling it? Are you speaking it out loud? Are you having talks with yourself? Seemingly with yourself? This card is here to say the storm has passed. And yes, when planets are in retrograde, the storms do come in. We can either self-discipline ourselves, but if we do not, then when planets go retrograde, those parts of our life will end up a little chaotic, and we have to sort things through, and we'll have to do the things that we didn't want to do earlier. So Saturn is here to teach us about self-discipline and growing that strength within us, and we shouldn't resist those teachings because it will take us far. Let's get an oracle card. So I know I said give me till the end of the week for the readings. I did have a down moment when I got the news that somehow I have to come up with $100,000 in order to stay in my house. This is the gal who retired too early, but it didn't take me long to say, okay, well, we've had our little pity party now, Tilly, and now it's time to square our shoulders and know that we're protected. And talk to them about it, because they're the ones that can do something about it. And people worry how you talk to them. Just talk to them like you would talk to a friend across the table. Like I'm talking to you now. That's how I talk to them. Yes, they like the traditional. And we light the candles and we get into that deep meditative state and make that connection. But they can hear us. They can hear us when we're brushing our teeth and we're talking, or we're even just thinking. They can hear us, and it's up to us to converse with them. That's when the magic happens in that relationship. Okay, let's... 12, expansion. So we have that 12 energy here. Okay. 12 energy is about a pull it back, think it through kind of energy. 1 plus 2 is the 3. It's about the transformation. So we are thinking things through about how we want to transform, what we want to bring into reality, what we want to make tangible in our lives going forward. So I will hold the card up because this artist is just so amazingly talented in bringing so many different pictures in to this artwork each and every time. I so often tell you to just, after you're done here, just Google, what does holding hands mean to me spiritually, or a castle. Riding an elk, a deer, air balloons floating in the sky. See what it says to you. What's the first thing that caught your eye? Okay, I'll hold that up. We'll read the page fast for you. What's that little piece of black? Is that supposed to be there? Yeah, it is. Okay. That might have been something stuck to the card, but it is not. Okay, you are continually moving, evolving, and going through cycles in your life. Attune and align yourself with the rhythms of nature around you. This is an exciting time with new beginnings, growth, and changes. There are many settings that will provide for inner development and expansion. Pay attention to everything that is going on around you and the effect it is having on you. Consider environmental issues, or use this as an opportunity for new studies. It is a good idea to recognize the need for extra rest and personal care while integrating new energies, so you are ready for important messages and opportunities. Just as in nature, you too have seasons for growth and maturity. So it is all about the expansion of who we are, where we're going, of the path we're inviting in. We'll get an animal here before we go. And we have the bison, abundance. We have the bison. Sacred buffalo, cloak me in your wisdom. Keep me warm throughout the storms of life. Fill my life with goodness. Teach me the way of gratitude and prayer. And our first card was about gratitude, and we end with teach me the way of gratitude and prayer. Cloak me in your wisdom. And really, essentially, we are asking that higher power to come in and cloak us with their wisdom, with the wisdom that we need in order to go forward. Keep me warm throughout the storms of life. Protect me. And they are there to protect us. Life would be so much harder if they didn't have our backs. Fill my life with goodness. Let them know that's what you want going forward. Fill my life with goodness. Let them decide what the goodness will be. I think you'll be amazed by what they come up with, rather than you trying to orchestrate exactly where that goodness needs to be and what it needs to look like exactly. Of course, we want to grow that picture for ourselves, but we also don't want to limit the way the gifts can come into our lives too. Until we meet again, remember, I do love you.